Hello everyone, this is Yoko. In this channel, I will be sharing information in English about events happening in China that may not be known to other countries. I've gathered this information on my own, as these events may not be widely covered elsewhere. I would appreciate your comments on the content of the videos, as I obtain information from various media sources. If you find the content interesting, please consider subscribing to the channel and showing your support. Today, I'd like to talk about a highly popular company in China that operates a payment system called Alipay. Alipay is a commonly seen payment tool in Japan as well, and many people are familiar with its existence. Alipay is a 100% subsidiary of a company called Ant, which belongs to the Alibaba Group. When making purchases, Alipay can be used for payment. The widespread adoption of Alipay in China can be attributed to the prevalence of counterfeit money in the country. Confirming every transaction is time-consuming and comes with risks, making the use of Alipay considered safer and more convenient. Originally conceptualized by Jack Ma, who understood the characteristics of the Chinese people in online transactions, Alipay aims to address concerns between parties involved in transactions. Its primary goal is to eliminate anxieties related to issues like products not being delivered or payments not being made. In China, building trust between transaction parties was the key idea. In case of any problems, a third party intervenes until the arrival of the product is confirmed, ensuring a secure transaction. This system bears some resemblance to the mechanisms of international trade. In online transactions, sellers face the risk of not being able to collect payment after sending the goods, while buyers face the risk of receiving items that either don't arrive or have lower quality than expected. To prevent such issues, a mechanism has been established where a third party temporarily holds the funds until the transaction is confirmed. However, due to a lack of trust between transaction parties in China, a similar system was needed domestically. Alipay was born to fulfill this need and has become more than just a solution for online transactions. It has widely permeated everyday life in China. In countries like Japan, where people often trust each other in online transactions, such intricate systems are deemed unnecessary. However, as society becomes increasingly vulnerable to fraud, the vulnerabilities of trust-based systems rise. Currently, Japan lacks a comprehensive system where funds are temporarily held by a third party in online transactions, which could be a future concern. While online payments may seem similar to everyone, Alipay has its own unique features. Therefore, Alipay is widely used in China, and recently, there has been information emerging about it. Let's discuss the title of this article. The first two characters represent the Chinese characters for Alipay. Refers to the central bank, and signifies an agreement by the central bank. Alipay has agreed to transform into a company that is not controlled by anyone in reality. For the average Japanese person, this might sound peculiar because China has unique systems that Japan lacks. Occasionally, economic news contains crucial information, but for those unfamiliar with these unique structures, the meaning may be challenging to fully comprehend. Now, let's delve deeper into the topic of companies being controlled by no one, which is quite significant in the context of Chinese business practices. First and foremost, it's crucial to understand that China is under communist rule, but at the same time, it permits the existence of corporations. It is known that some factions within China view capitalism with suspicion. The reason for accepting corporations is the belief that if a company's shares are widely owned by many people, the profits of that company will be distributed more broadly. Theoretically, effective management could create a more economically equal society. However, reality may differ from this ideal. It's interesting to consider that the operating company of Alipay is also a corporation. Essentially, individuals who control the corporation, namely the executives, are chosen by major shareholders. In other words, the individuals or groups holding the most shares control the company, which is a common structure for most corporations. However, here's where it gets intriguing. The term "a company controlled by no one" comes into play. Despite being a corporation, there seems to be no individual or entity explicitly stated as controlling the company. In typical corporations, control is in the hands of major shareholders or appointed directors. So, what does it mean when we say that no one is controlling the company? Here is where the uniqueness or peculiarity of China comes into play. In China, the Communist Party is integrated into every organization. For instance, the Chinese government doesn't merely consist of the Communist Party itself, it has a dual structure with the Communist Party organization embedded within the government. Regarding leadership, the Communist Party usually holds the upper positions. Let's consider examples like the city of Shanghai to understand this structure better. Under typical assumptions, one might consider the leader of Shanghai to be the mayor. However, in China, actual authority often lies with the secretary of the municipal party committee. In various organizations, the party committee secretary is regarded as the number one figure, and positions such as president or mayor may be considered as number two or serve as a check and balance. This structure exists in every organization in China, and even companies are mandated to establish a Communist Party organization. This means that despite companies having major shareholders or appointed executives, there is additional control from the Communist Party organization within the company. This is a unique aspect of China's business environment. In this case, the control power of shareholders diminishes. So, who ultimately takes control? In the end, it is the party organization. In essence, the company is effectively taken over by the Communist Party. Simply put, it's akin to a supposedly uncontrolled company being essentially seized by the Communist Party. However, shareholders still retain the ability to gain economic benefits. This pattern has been ongoing for quite some time. Now, let's talk about a seemingly inevitable pattern in Chinese business. In China, as businesses start and grow successfully, they eventually become intertwined with the interests of the Communist Party. For instance, Alipay has become a widely used tool not only in China but also internationally. It collects vast amounts of personal information, tracking details of individual shopping locations and financial transactions. Alipay engages in economic activities, allowing it to intricately understand individuals' information, such as purchasing patterns and income. However, as these tools develop, the individuals who have nurtured the companies thus far will essentially step back from management. The Communist Party will take over, stating, "We will take charge of the management." This is not a new occurrence, it has been ongoing for quite some time. This type of takeover by the party is referred to as gongxi hiying in China. While there are numerous specific examples of party takeovers of companies, due to the length of this discussion, the details of these instances will be addressed on another occasion. Not limited to the case of Alipay in China, historically successful companies, driven by private dynamism, ultimately come under the control of the Communist Party. When companies become substantial, the party employs methods to convert their influence into the party's interests. Therefore, affluent individuals in China often consider moving their assets overseas and contemplate immigration. However, if engaged in business in China, leaving the country comes with the risk of losing income. Nevertheless, many people choose to stay in China, where their companies might eventually be managed by the Communist Party, leading to potential loss of everything. This pattern didn't start recently, it has been ongoing for a long time. When businesses in China experience significant growth, there tends to be a party takeover, turning their benefits into party interests. Therefore, individuals and companies that have grown in the economic sphere of China always face the risk of being taken over by the Communist Party. Hence, even Japanese companies conducting significant business in China need to act cautiously, securing escape routes to avoid the potential risk of their companies being taken over. While not all companies may experience this, the possibility is not zero. Specific cases will be shared on another occasion. In essence, China is a country where practices unimaginable in Japan occur routinely, making caution crucial. That concludes our discussion for this time. Until next time.